I'm gonna share with y'all today how to make a very popular, famous Creole dish that's from South Louisiana. Originally, this dish is from Africa and it's called gumbo. Gumbo, the word gumbo is a mispronunciation of an African word called King Gumbo. King Gumbo is from the Congo region of Africa and it is a native okra. Um, One thing we're going to need to get this gumbo started is olive oil or corn oil or lard, any kind of oil. You can use baby oil if you want to. Just joking around. What we got here is flour. We're going to take some flour. We're going to take some oil. We're going to get the oil really hot in the pot. We're going to put the flour in there. We're going to darken this up in order to make a roux. Kind of like making a gravy, but it's going to be much darker. So here we go. First process, let's make a roux. The grease is really hot. Go ahead and put your flour in there. Being that this is a real gumbo, an okra gumbo, you're not going to really make a very big roux. So watch as this roux is getting darker and darker. That's exactly what you want. You want it to get a little bit darker than my skin, my beautiful brown skin. So now we're going to add our cornichon to the roux. Now most people don't do this, but this is the way I do my gumbo. We're going to cook the cornichon on the outside layer, which they call browning. We're going to brown it about 10% of the way. And then we're going to add some, what they call the Holy Trinity, the garlic, the bell pepper, and the onions and parsley and all that stuff. We're going to add that with some juice. Cover that up good with some cayenne pepper. Do a little flippy like this. You see that roux is looking nice and dark. Go ahead and put some more cayenne pepper in there. And the chicken is partially cooking. You want to get it to about 10 to 12% cooked. So smoked andouille sausage is very popular in the deep south, but particularly in Louisiana. I like to cut mine like this, very big, and I cut a few pieces small like this. That's just the way I like my gumbo done. So as y'all can see, we got kind of a little gravy going on here. Once that starts to boil is whenever we're going to throw our onions and everything in. One thing that differentiates gumbo from etouffee and things like that is that you want to make sure that the onions are finely cut. Everything's fine cut, small. So we're going to put that in there. We got our onions in there. Now that's just the first batch of onions. That's the way I do it. I put a first batch and a second batch. Put my white onions and I put sweeter onions later. purple onions, you know. This is when we want to put our salt. Preferably, I use sea salt. If you notice, I don't measure how much salt. I don't have any measurements. You think they had measurements in ancient Africa when they cooked gumbo? You think they had measurements about 50 years ago when they made gumbo? No, they just did it. So now that them onions right there, and then bell pepper and all that, they've been kind of boiling and everything, I'll say for about 5 minutes now. I'm going to add my second layer of onions. These are purple onions with some garlic. It's going to be great. So now after I put my second set of onions, and I also put a lot of garlic in there, and it's been pretty much boiling for about 6 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and put another bowl of water. Because one thing that people forget about gumbo, first of all, its origins are in Africa, and the word gumbo does mean okra, and gumbo is pretty much a okra soup. Now you can put chicken, you can put shrimp, you can put tomato, you can put sausage. It's however you want to do it. But gumbo, the basis of gumbo is the okra, the chicken, the sausage. And what gumbo is, it's a okra soup. You find it all over Africa. You find it all over the Caribbeans. And this is the way I do it. So we're putting this water in here, and we're getting ready to let this gumbo boil. We're going to let this gumbo boil for a good 15-20 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to put some okra. So some people would rather the gumbo be very, very thick, almost like hot chocolate and clay. They want it very, very thick. Me, I like my gumbo more on the soupy side, but still kind of thick, you know, hefty. Well, we're about to throw a little bit of okra in there now. Some people have a problem with okra. They don't like okra in their gumbo, not knowing that the word gumbo means okra. So, anyways, we're going to go the healthy route. Got a lot of people out there want to cry. Me. All that crying ain't necessary. Let's eat your, just shut up and eat your vegetables, okay? All right. Now, let's put that okra in there. So, when I put my okra in the gumbo, or when I put my gumbo in the gumbo, shall I say, that's when I like to go back and use one of my grandma's favorites, gumbo filet. I put that in with my okra. Some people put it in after the whole gumbo is finished. They'll put it in their personal bowl. Well, me, I put it in my gumbo. I let it cook in the gumbo. And if you feel like you want more, put it in your personal bowl. But I love for my filet to cook in my gumbo. One thing you want to put when you put your okra is smoked oysters in a can. You crush them up. I already ate half of the can myself because I love oysters. But the rest of it is going to go in the gumbo. See one piece of meat. Mm. Once that starts to boil, it's time to put another warm bowl of water in here. That'll be the last bowl of water you should need for this. After the gumbo has boiled for 30 minutes, go ahead and throw you a cup of green onions in there and stir that up. And there you go. Dinner served. I'll see you in 30 minutes. You just turn it off and you let it cool. And the gumbo's ready to be served.